Evidently, there was a problem with one of Joe Biden's dogs, and it was sort of like an accident waiting to happen. I, I see that, first off, aggression is like the most common behavioral problem with dogs. It could be leash aggression. It doesn't matter. Food aggression, it's just a common problem with dogs. And the problem is usually, well, it could be multiple things, but like a lot of the times the dog's status is confused. And when I talk about the status being confused, I mean the dog sort of sees itself as an equal. And we're talking about a subspecies of the wolf. It doesn't matter if it's German Shepherds like Joe and Jill have, or a Maltese or a Chihuahua. If the dog is confused and sees itself as an equal, it's going to treat a human like it's a dog. When you have a dog, it needs to work, and it also needs to know commands. And I would see the German Shepherds like at the White House just running around the lawn. That's nonsense. Whether it's for a photo op or whatever, the dogs should be trained, and they should be trained at heel, and then they should be released to, with a hurry command. But they should be healing. People should be using commands with the dogs. You have these dogs that are probably around all kinds of reporters and stuff, and the dogs are going to barrel up to the reporters. Something was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. All dogs need to be treated the same way, and that's as a Marine. And treat them like that, and they're happy. To think that the dogs are happy or just running around being loose is nonsense. That puts the dog in like a situation of stress. Think of it this way. If you're the CEO or you're Joe Biden, you're the president, he's got a lot of stress. He's got a ton of stress. He's got more stress than, like, say, the mailman that delivers the mail. He has a ton of stress. The dog that starts seeing itself as like, well, I'm in charge of this. And that's what dogs do, is they look around. They're constantly looking at the humans, making sure that that they're not in charge. And when they start seeing that, like, well, I can do this and I can do this and I can get away with this, so obviously I'm the one in charge, they act out with humans. We have 4 million dogs being put down every year. We have about the same amount of bites, and 50% of those could be kids and 50% could be adults. We have a lot of problems, and it's all nonsense. It's due to lack of training, improper training, or no training at all. There's nothing wrong with Joe and Jill's dog. It just isn't being treated the right way, and it's sort of being treated like they're like a kid. You have to have structure. Those dogs need to stay at heel, and that is not like Cesar Millan bullshit of like the dogs are just in a general area. The dog should be healing. This is done with conditioning and commands. The dog should be on the left-hand side of Joe or Jill or whoever's handling the dogs, and that's it. They shouldn't be allowed to like run up to reporters or whatever. They should know, a sit command if they're running. No, sit! And the dog sits. They're not trained properly. It's just insane. I thought it was insane that they had them running around the White House lawn like that. It was an accident waiting to happen. We have so many problems. We have this society that we all love dogs. Jill and Joe love dogs. They love them, but you have to treat them as if they're a dog or they get in trouble. And now we have a problem. I don't know if there was a bite, but it doesn't have to be like this. In other words, if the dog is at heel and walking with Jill and Joe, it's not going to bite the reporter over here or whoever it was. If you had the dog in down place, unless somebody's going up petting it, there's no problem. There's no problem. It just irritates the crap out of me. Now, I know about this because my friend Robert Masters, who's another dog trainer, sent me a thing this morning. Are you ready to go to Delaware? Would you want to go to Delaware or something like that? I'm like, what's that about? And he told me this, and then through our conversation, he's like, they'll probably call Caesar. Why would they do that? That's what I hope that they wouldn't do. Caesar, a dog whisperer, is telling them sort of what they want to hear. You want to use a dog trainer that's going to condition and commands. A dog whisperer doesn't. You want a dog that knows sit down, whoa, here, heel, kennel. Maybe they could train the dogs to do scent work, do the weave pulls, something like that. Work the dogs on a daily basis. Caesar, the dog whisperers, they don't do anything like that. It's all about managing the dog and being like dominant to the dog. It's nonsense. It's such nonsense. I hope that that's not the case, and I certainly hope that they don't use some positive reinforcement trainer. They should look for a balanced trainer. I'm sure there's somebody up there in Delaware, and get the dogs trained. There's no reason that they can't be down at the White House. There's absolutely no, but having them not trained, having German Shepherds not trained, running around doing whatever is nonsense. One of them got in trouble. I'm sure the other ones would get in trouble. You have to have training with the dog, and you have to work the dog its entire life. I'm sure that they're going to do something. He got the one dog from a shelter. So Joe doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would let's throw the baby out with the bathwater, get rid of the dog. But he has to get these dogs trained. You have to get the dog trained. That's just how it is. And if you're looking for convenience, you shouldn't get a dog, because dogs are not convenient.